this is Marvel's best movie, bro. Like, and I don't.
Best movie?
Yes. And
movie.
let me explain.
This pod gonna get
Let me
hot.
explain.
This pod getting hot. It definitely feels finally like we got a Marvel movie that has some weight, that has some gravity to it, that will lead us into the future. So
The only thing I can ever really compare it to is in Endgame and Infinity War.
Gee, you blowing me right. You're
I'm sorry.
comparing this movie to
I'm sorry.
Endgame and
I'm sorry.
Infinity War.
I'm
about
sorry.
to go Stephen A on you. You blasphemy! One of the most unique Marvel takes ever. They do have some Marvel formula, but it's like seasoning, little salt and pepper on there.
Yeah.
Like they don't do the same old Marvel stuff.
Yeah, more than a movie, bro. I don't know. It's something about it, bro. And this is still like I'm excited, bro, because today, man, we talking about Doctor Strange, bro. Doctor Strange freaking 2. And it's a special occasion because this is the start of something new, not only for this pod, but also just it's a whole new outlook on content, right? Because if it's not great, I'm not putting it out. You know, that's my whole new mentality, bro. It's got to be good, you know. And not to say nothing I did prior wasn't good, but I'm just trying to be the best out here. You feel me? But I'm excited because from now on, if y'all getting a podcast, it's going to be a collab, bro. Every single time. I'm setting it in stone. We done seen what the echo chamber does. You know, not to say that those episodes were bad, but I just want to try something new. You know what I'm saying? And who better to start that out with the homie Chris, bro. So we're gonna get into, you know, the whole nitty gritty of this movie. We went and see it yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't really talked about it since. Usually we have a couple days in between to like really get our thoughts together, but this is as fresh as it can be. So I'm super excited for you guys to tune into this thing. But before we do that, welcome back to the Why I'm Geek show, man. Episode 60 ball 60 on type beat, you know what I'm saying? And today I got the homie Chris. Say what's good.
What's up, y'all? Glad to be back. Glad to see a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And just excited to talk about this Multiverse of Madness.
There you go. So I'm super geeked, bro, because like you said, this is a Marvel, this is the MCU movie. You know what I'm saying? Like to go from Spider-Man to Morbius was a letdown. I ain't gonna cap. So we needed something. We needed something to actually like bring our spirits back up. I'm gonna be real, because that joint was not good. You know, and this movie for me, it raised the bar. Because if we're talking like main superheroes, if we're talking about like main cast, they done messed up, because they done show me that they can do something different. Because we are used to, I know I'm kind of jumping into things right here, but
I mean, go ahead.
We're used to Marvel having their specific formula when it comes to like dropping movies and shows and things like that. And they set out to make a horror movie and a scary movie, and they accomplished that, bro, in my opinion. So we got the first concept album, to Pimp a Butterfly. We got it from Marvel. I know that might be a wild comparison, but that's just like my inner like feelings at this point. Maybe it might change later on after like a second watch or whatever, but like
second watch, okay, I see you're gonna go see it again.
Yeah, you know, I don't even usually do that. You know what I'm saying? I see something once, I know how I feel, but that joint was so crazy that I might need to go see it again, bro. I ain't gonna count. But Chris, I want to hear, you know, a short manifesto, because I don't even know why I said manifesto, but like just your initial thoughts, and then we'll start diving into things as we go along.
I ain't gonna hold you. I like Morbius way better, bro.
Oh
Nah,
my
I'm
god.
playing, I'm playing with y'all. All right. I ain't gonna lie. Going into this movie, I definitely felt like I was hoping for one of the biggest, best Marvel had to offer. And while I don't think it's the biggest or best Marvel had to offer, it's very, very good.
Mhm.
And when I think about what is it, Marvel's Phase 4 and all that type of stuff, it definitely feels finally like we got a Marvel movie that has some weight, that has some gravity to it that will lead us into the future. So I came away feeling much appreciated from going to see Multiverse of Madness as soon as it dropped, and I hope everyone goes and sees it this weekend because it is definitely a good movie to see. But we're gonna break down today in this pod the good, the bad, and we'll see where this thing ranks because it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. That's what I'm gonna say right now. But
I,
I enjoyed myself at the movies. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. I ain't gonna cap, bro. Like going out of the movie, bro, I was hyped. And I started tweeting, and
You was tweeting?
I was tweeting. I wasn't spoiling. I wasn't spoiling
Okay.
because like this was the first time I felt like spoiling something wasn't like, I mean, spoiling something is bad in general, but I just, even to the point of me putting out a review, I don't even know if I want to put out my regular style of reviews because I really want people to go and experience this thing because this was the first time that not only, like you said, like the gravity of a movie has felt like this high as far as like the future, because with Spider-Man that was more of like a closure type of
Yeah,
setting.
exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like we were looking to like close this chapter, whereas with Multiverse of Madness, they're opening plenty of doors. You know, so for me, that's one thing that I was definitely expecting going into it. But also, it's like, bro, like I was tweeting to the point that like I said it. I I said it, and I don't know if I even want to say it right now, but
I mean, we could go wherever you go because I'm telling you, this movie, there's so many doors. They open so much stuff that this pod is gonna go ridiculous.
bro,
I mean,
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna
oh,
say
it's
it,
about to
bro.
be madness in this thing. Go ahead and say,
I'm gonna say it,
go
bro.
ahead and get hyped because when you walked out the movie theater, you were just hyped to the maximum. You was like, oh, what I just watched? I watched something good. That's how you were.
Yeah, this is Marvel's best movie, bro. Like, and I don't.
Best movie?
Yes, yes, and
Best movie.
let me explain. Let me
This
explain.
pod gonna get
Let me
hot. This
explain.
pod getting hot.
Let me explain, bro.
Oh my gosh.
So when we look at Marvel, right, we usually look at it with rose-colored glasses. You know, we saw a lot of these movies when we were younger, growing up, and things like that. Even when we go and do the binge of, watching all of the movies back to back to back to back. When I say that Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness is the best Marvel movie, I'm speaking purely on quality, bro. Quality of film. Like
Quality.
the way that this movie was shot, the way that it like draws you in, it's it's the best. Like you should want a studio to be able to outdo itself, right? Like over the years, like I feel like after all the lessons they done learned up until this point of like putting out these big movies,
Yeah.
we saw that come to fruition with this. Because we'll talk more about like just like how the story and the plot, because this is no perfect movie, by the way.
Yeah.
This movie is not perfect. So when I say that this is Marvel's like best movie, I'm talking like execution wise, as far as like what it like, not only just like what it looks like, but like the gravity of the situation, and just like the only thing I can ever really compare it to is in Endgame and Infinity War. That's it.
Gee, you blowing me right. You're
I'm sorry.
comparing this movie to
I'm sorry.
Endgame and
I'm sorry.
Infinity War.
I'm
I'm about to
sorry.
go Stephen A on you. You blasphemy? Oh my gosh.
No,
This
bruh.
movie is that good. This is S tier Marvel at its best.
Aesthetic and like the way bro they put this is supposed to be a horror film, right? And the way
Yeah.
that it was shot, the way that like it blew me away. 'Cause I was like, I didn't think they could like actually get to this level of like
Uh-huh.
just like I was just like, bro, I don't know what I'm watching right now. I was I'm like, bro, this is so tough.
Okay, I see. I
like
see.
like it's more so that because going into this, I didn't go to see Doctor Strange, bro. I went to see Wanda. That's the
Okay.
only person I really cared about. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that this is Marvel's like best movie so far, right?
Mhm.
It's like compared to
That's
like
heavy. That's
I
heavy as
know,
a
I know,
haymaker.
I know, but that was my tweet. That was my tweet, and
Oh.
that's what got this pot stirring, right? And that tweet was
Yeah.
made that tweet was made at the most hype I've ever been. Like
Wow.
maybe not most hype I've ever been. That might be cap, but most like the peak hype of
Okay.
that moment had me saying that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I
And
definitely felt that vibe walking out with you in the theater. That you was
yeah,
like, I saw something special right there.
yeah. So it's not so much because I have things that I don't like about the movie, and it's
Okay.
more so to do with like the characters themselves rather than like what we actually saw. Because for me, I'm able to like not trying to be like a movie snob or anything, but like I feel like I'm able to look at something not necessarily like for what it exactly is, but like more so like where we've been and where we're at now. So like as at caliber of movie, I think like them showing us that they can do this, like they can put a horror movie together and it be good, tells me everything I need to know for is like, okay, we're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Because we lost. You gotta think about it. We lost
Okay.
so many characters, bro.
See, this is why
You know what I'm
this
saying?
pod is so worth it because man, like I do agree with you. It seems like we're gonna be okay because all
Yeah.
of Phase 4 they had some ups, some downs, and
Mhm.
and it makes you a little worried, and this one makes you feel all right.
Mhm.
But like your take on this movie is making this thing on fire, on fire. Like, oh man. So I'm ready to see what these questions, what these topics you got down for this because
Yeah.
I'm ready to go off on this movie. Then if this one's a top tier Avenger level, I'm ready. Then we ready.
Okay. So we also okay. So where can I start? Let's just start at the beginning, bro. Like the
Okay.
introduction to the movie, right? It's a scene that we get introduced to one of the main characters. It's a scene that we see.
America Chavez and Doctor Strange from another reality
Right.
are fighting towards the book of Ashanti or something like that.
Yep.
And a demon is chasing them.
Right.
Crazy. Starts off with a bang.
Yeah. We start out with that, and then we get like one of the like most like seamless transitions to like a character as far as like what happened in Endgame to like all the different shows that we done seen. Like there's a lot of things that has built us up to this point that has me super hyped because for me it's more than a movie, bro. I don't know. It's something about it, bro. And this is still like you gotta walk with you gotta take this with a grain of salt, right? Because this is a day after, you know. So
Okay, I feel like what you're reaching for is the fact that WandaVision, the series, was so good. And when you go into this movie, Multiverse of Madness, it really does feel like the continuation, but a big finality of something we watched a whole year, maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
that really fleshed out Wanda, and then
Mm-hmm.
it picks back up straight into a scene and movie that really feels like it just caps it off perfectly, almost.
Yes. Yes. And they do it with essentially side characters, bro.
Yeah, with the
So
side, all the side pieces, like
yeah.
they
So
did a
like
great job.
so like that's part of like what I'm saying, because it's just like, yo, if they can pull this off with Doctor Strange, you know, he's like in the like one of the most powerful people in the Marvel universe, right? And then but as far as like the cinematic universe, like first movie not really well received, right? Does has some good feats and some good appearances in other
Horrible villain.
movies. Horrible villain.
Horrible villain. Yeah.
Horrible villain, yeah. Um and shows, right? And then we got Wanda, who we got introduced to, broken, and then seemingly started to get better, but then got broke again. Didn't get no help, and brought us to like not only her having her own show, but also her being able to like really transcend like this evil, bruh, in the dark hole, and I can't take it, bruh.
Evil.
I, I can't take it, bro. It's so good. Like the character development for Wanda specifically, and you know some of these other characters throughout the movie, I think was smooth. But I really think now that I'm talking about, because I haven't talked about it. I haven't made no review. I just been in my head, you know.
I got
so
you.
y'all get me,
I can tell,
y'all get
bro.
me fresh.
I can tell you.
Yeah,
You had it all fresh in there, and you just like, I saw something amazing, and now you're trying to
yeah,
get it
I'm
all
trying
out,
to
and you're like,
process as we're talking about. But that's why it's why I'm Geek Show, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm over here like still processing, but also like coming to my own conclusions about what we saw, and it's because of those things that I I haven't felt like this since Endgame. I haven't felt like this since like Civil War. Like even with Spider-Man, I don't count Spider-Man because it's a different type of love right there when it comes to like those characters. But as far as like gravity, when it comes to a Marvel movie, Black Widow didn't have it. Shang-Chi didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So
like Eternals had it, but it was just like kind of outside of the story. Like it was like,
yeah.
this is the part that you really want the Eternals, the Celestials. My bad,
Mhm.
the Celestials, and then like, all right, back to the Eternals type thing.
Right. Like in this movie, we got answers, bruh. We got cameos. Like it's really like that.
Go ahead and dive into it.
And
Go ahead and dive into it. We're gonna spoil everything in this why I'm geek, because G,
Bro.
you are so geek coming out the theater. Let's go ahead.
Bruh. When I saw the trailer and I saw the shadow and the theories started happening and the guesses, I was really like, no, like we might get one. We might get one. You know what I'm saying? The main one. And I ain't gonna say, I'm gonna let you say it, Chris, because I really want to hear how you're, you know, process, like not even process, but how you hear me speaking to like what your thoughts are. But like we didn't get one, we got five. We got five, bro. And it didn't happen till probably like what? I don't want to say middle of the movie, but like sort of
it's
like
middle towards the end. Yeah.
yes, like middle towards the end of this crucial moment where we met the Illuminati, bro. Something that I didn't it seemed impossible, you know, for them to be able to combine all of the different universes and new people that we have yet to see, but they did it in such a fashion that had me like, bro, what's going on? Like, I can't believe I'm watching this right now. Like, I'm not gonna say what I meant to ask you if you heard this, but what the guy sitting next to us said. But
No, no, I didn't hear what he said.
it was bad though. It was bad. It was bad in the sense of like I can't say that in good conscience, but it was just know he was freaked out though. He was freaked out, and that's all I'm gonna say.
What
And
did he say?
he said something wild to me, bro. And he was like, "This is literally blank," and try to think of what that blank is. But it was I was just like, and they kept looking at the screen. I couldn't. I was like, "Whoa, this is wild." But Chris, why don't you, let them know who we saw in this movie, bro?
On the Illuminati chairs,
Yes.
we saw Professor X,
Yeah.
which was revealed in the trailer that I did not see. So I'm glad I did not watch that last trailer. Professor X. And then we saw Mr. Fantastic himself.
Yeah.
On the Illuminati chair. Who is the actor? Is it
Jim?
Oh man,
Jim from The Office.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
No, wait. What's his name?
I can't think. It's James. No, it's Will something.
He's a director now. John Krasinski.
Yeah. He got a different a show called something on Amazon, but I didn't watch it though. But
those reveals were so interesting because the fact that they had the Illuminati were I can't remember what Earth it was, Earth 838 or something like that.
Yeah, something like
version of the Avengers, and the Illuminatis are the ones who defeated Thanos in that universe.
Yep.
And Reed Richards and the X-Men existed in that universe, and they all know Doctor Strange.
Yes.
They all know Doctor Strange, and they just opened up a can of worms that clearly shows that they have the capability going on in the future that any realities they can have any type of character cast as Miss Marvel, Reed Richards, Professor X, Captain America. Captain America was Peggy Carter.
Yep.
So we got a what if Peggy Carter in the movie.
Yep.
And they just opened up the doors to all the possibilities to always have, say, like an Iron Man, Captain America, recast it as someone else, and it somehow can make sense in this universe now.
It didn't look foreign.
This is something side.
It didn't look foreign.
It seemed natural, and I want to say something because this is something that came out this year too. It makes me really appreciate the way Marvel has taken care of their intellectual property because Batman, literally just saw a Batman movie that was really good. But when you think about that movie, you can't help but say like Batman, this is like a reincarnation or another version. Right. But when we're watching these Marvel movies, now they're not different versions. They're all in the same universe. And it's just such a big door that's like, oh, this is X-Men from another universe, or this is Spidey from another universe. And that's what we got from Spider-Man No Way Home. You got all the Spider-Mans that we watched, and now it's collectively on a screen that makes sense. And it's just incredible because Marvel, they just seem like they are pulling off the most amazing trick where when we watch movies, whatever they want to do, whatever actor they want to use, they can fuse it seamlessly. And I want to say that because WandaVision, we got Loki, we got Moon Knight, and What If, and they can use those to bleed into any movies that they want. And it's just so good. It just seems so worth the while to watch these shows and these movies. It just seems like the ticket price is just so worth it. And it was just beautiful to see. I can't wait for more X-Men stuff. I cannot wait for more X-Men stuff.
Yeah. And it sound like you with me, man. It sound like you on my side.
I'm not gonna go all the way there. I'm not going all the way there. Everyone's gonna have to tune into the rest of the podcast then. Everyone's gonna have to go way into the podcast.
But, so it's like, bro, we got so many cameos. Cameos that, brought other universes to this one. But we also got cameos of Captain Marvel being Monica's mother, which was really cool. And
Yep.
it was a fun moment, like as the reveal was going on, because you know this, I think named Black Beetle, right? Where
Mhm.
it started off with Black Beetle, right? People was hyped for that, you know what I'm saying? People was
Black
actually hyped.
Bolt,
Black
the
Bolt,
Black Bolt.
Black
Yeah.
Bolt, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, um, people was hyped for that, you know. And then next was Captain Carter, right? People was hyped for that. And then we had Captain Marvel, and people got hyped. But then once they saw it was Monica Mom, they got confused. And then it was like, oh
Yeah.
wait, we know who that is. And got hyped again. And then obviously, Reed Richards was like one of the top two.
E-
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
easy to spot, blue suit, everything.
Yeah. And what's cool about him was like it had got like announced prior that he was going
Yeah,
to
yeah, you
be
pointed that out.
that he was going to be Mr. Fantastic, but I didn't think it was going to happen within this movie. Just because it's just like that confirms it, you know what I'm saying? That confirms so many things. And it was just like one of those experiences like I ain't never gonna forget, bruh. And all these things, bro. I'm gonna keep saying it, all these things had me feeling like this is the best Marvel movie, bro. But I digress. I digress. So now that we've talked about just the hype, right?
The hype,
Let's
the spoilers. Let's
hype
go.
spoilers. Like let's get into like more of the meat and potatoes. Was this a horror movie? Was this Did they accomplish the goal? Were you scared?
So to be honest, I'm a huge horror movie guy. I love horror movies. I've seen them all, and I'm always what people don't like in more horror movies. I really like,
Mm-hmm.
and I always give a lot of horror movies buffs because when you watch a horror movie, you got to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this movie had so many iconic horror movie elements, so many uh, great horror movie scenes and clips and aspects of it that I just really loved it because it makes me it's the reason why I like watching horror movies and thrillers. And when they put it into a Marvel movie, Raimi just did an incredible job kind of merging them together.
Mm-hmm.
But it was brutal enough to kind of warrant a horror movie like style
Right.
because this movie is one of the more brutal, honestly, the most brutal Marvel
Yeah.
movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And even without like mega blood, because they had like a little bit of blood,
Mm-hmm.
but it was more like darkness, like you can't really
Right.
see it. It was just perfectly done that, you could still take kids to, and like if they would have went all the way, just full on
I don't know if you could
craziness,
bring kids to it.
that'd have been
I don't know. It might be a little.
they sat there and let Thanos snap their favorite childhood heroes
But
away.
that was
They
dust,
can come
though.
watch this movie. They
That
can
was
come watch this
dust.
movie.
That was
So
dust.
so like it's not a full on horror. Oh my god! But they got the jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty smooth, and I just think they have a lot of horror elements that make it so unique. And that's
Yeah.
really what I really like about this movie. This is one of the most unique Marvel takes ever. They do
Mm-hmm.
have some Marvel formula, but
Yeah.
it's like seasoning, little salt and pepper on there.
Yeah.
Like they don't do the same old Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really what I liked about this movie. It just seems like so special and so unique compared to everything else we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So me personally, I do think I would categorize it as a horror movie. It's just not super, super, super horror. But I
Okay.
just love the elements they did with it. But
Okay.
let me know what you thought. Did you really
Okay.
think it was horror?
I forgot. I ain't gonna cap. I forgot. I forgot it was supposed to be a scary
What?
movie, bro. Like going into it, like because you were the first person that told me that like Multiverse of Madness
Yeah.
was supposed to be a horror movie, right? And I didn't really think about it again until like I actually got to the theater, like because it was just like I didn't really hear nobody else talking about it again. But
Yeah.
for me, I'm not the big horror movie fan. I'll be scared. I don't like paying to be scared, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be. I was too hyped to get scared, and maybe it has been my years and years of anime training that has prepared me for
Okay.
seeing
Goku.
stuff like this, right? Because
Okay.
if you seen Attack on Titan, bro, nothing,
Oh, you can't get
nothing should,
scared no more.
nothing should scare you anymore, bro. Like that's one of
Okay.
that Attack on Titan is one of the most like dark and
Yeah.
dark things you could watch,
Dark.
right?
Yeah.
But as far as like the jump scares, every single one got me, you know. Um, but it wasn't to the point where like
Yeah.
with other movies like scary movies or whatever that I'm legit afraid because these are the characters that I love. I love Wanda. I love Doctor Strange. Like so, I feel like because it was Marvel characters, I wasn't like innately afraid. Now maybe if I've never seen anything from Marvel, like it might get taken a different way. But for me, because I'm not the super like movie, I mean not movie, but scary movie guy, I can't really tell. But I did peep some references that, or shots that I thought was like cool because it reminded me of different things. I remember I told you one was like Carrie. I don't know how I saw that movie growing up, but I saw it. Maybe it was on TV. But any scary movie that I saw, it wasn't my choice. You know what I'm saying? I was just there. Like I ended up just being there.
I watch all the scary movies by choice.
Yeah. So I have like my knowledge on that type stuff is out the water. But after seeing this movie, man, who knows? Your boy might start going to seeing some more stuff. From is supposed to be good, so that might be something I go see later on. But back on topic, I love like the camera angles that they gave Wanda.
Yeah, that's it.
I loved like the different ways like that Wanda was using her powers that like really bent reality in a sense of like stuff that, like you said, it was just like little sprinkles here and there. Like it wasn't like super like copycat styles for things in this movie. I think it was very unique from my limited experience of scary movies, but it was one of those things where I was just like, okay, like I guess that jump was scary, but I didn't come out the theater thinking it was scary. You know, what I'm saying?
It's not one of those things that you get into the car and you gotta check the back seat. Like I've seen scary movies that people are like, oh, it's trash, but when you walk out the theater, you gotta check the back seat because you walk out a little shaky and you're like, ah. But you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We good to drive off now. We good to drive because it'd be dark. But this movie is not like scary, but the elements, the camera angles, the scenes,
music.
and the music, the score, the shearing sound of the pianos and different things that get into your ear. You're just like, yeah, this has a lot of the horror movie vibes. And and we're not even going to talk about the brutality of the killings in it because it's clear as day that this thing was going crazy.
Yeah, so I think that it, as far as a Marvel concept album, they nailed the horror concept album.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Next, I kind of want to talk about just like what did you think of like the pacing for the plot. For me, I think for the movie, I didn't realize how long the movie actually was when we was watching it, but that joint was kind of long. I ain't gonna cap. And there was like moments like leading up into meeting the Illuminati where things kind of got slow, but overall I think that especially the end it was paced very well, but what you thinking, what you got?
So here's where we're gonna start where I have my issues with this movie.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with you. When I watched the movie, I thought it was long. But it was just because the way they framed this movie, it gets going from jump. Like it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And it hardly ever stops. I mean, we get to the end of the movie.
It's a big chase.
And it's still going. Like they show a little scene with Doctor Strange at the end. He's walking down the street and it's like, boom, we're still going. And then it ends. I'm like, yo, where is the time to kind of slow down, get some more emotional feels into this movie where you're like, okay, the characters are growing, they're learning. No, this director is just like action,
Yeah.
darkness, jump scares,
Yeah.
X-Men, like, and I was like, all right, but it was weird because I kind of did feel like what you're saying, like it
Hmm.
was long, but it was
Yeah.
just because we went so many places, we went so many
Hmm.
different um universes or realities,
Yeah.
and then we had the X-Men thing, the Illuminati thing,
Hmm.
the what is it, the Darkhold
Yeah.
original place thing, like just
Hmm.
so many places that it did seem a little long, almost like they kind of like cut some stuff out or like
Yeah.
squish it together. I don't know. So to me, they kind of just were speed running this movie like crazy, and it wasn't as um well put together that I would have liked. Like maybe they could have took out some scenes to give it more spacing, and then I
Hmm.
probably would have enjoyed watching it more. Like the spacing could have been better. I don't know, because
Okay.
I just felt like it was a nonstop roller coaster going straight up, and then even at the end of the movie, they're like, "Oh, we got more next," and I was like, "All right,
Yeah.
cool."
Yeah. I didn't. Now that you say that, like the ending for sure, like I realized it didn't end. I didn't think about that till just now. Like
Yeah,
it didn't have an ending, you know? Um
it really did it.
yeah. But I think now that you said that, um I also feel like there's a reason that it had to be that way for it to like for you to steady be engaged, and that's because this is Doctor Strange's sequel, right?
Yeah. And they
And
clearly want it to be much bigger than probably a lot of people anticipated from the beginning.
right, especially if you compare it to the first movie, right? If we
Yeah.
if we're looking at like the depth that Doctor Strange's character has, um, over the course of like all the Marvel movies, but specifically like his initial entrance into the game, it's not that much to work with, and that's one of the things that I'm still like not a super fan of, is just like not so much like the betrayal of Doctor Strange, but just like the tropes, or like the his thing, right? Like usually like with a big hero, they have a good enough foundation where moments that are supposed to be sentimental moments, like um I love you 3000, like stuff like
Yeah.
that, mean more, right? And
Exactly.
for this movie, I don't think it does that, because Doctor Strange hasn't been
Exactly.
built to be that character. He's been more of a utility when it comes to fighting the big bads, because he is powerful, right? But
Yeah.
he hasn't had like those big character development moments, and even in this movie, I still feel like he didn't. I feel like it was more of
Yeah.
a thing for Wanda. But because this is still his movie, like we know what the answer is for Doctor Strange very early, as far as like what he needs to work on as a person. Like they cut that out like in the beginning, during the wedding scene of what's her name, Christine.
Christine.
Yeah,
Christine.
Christine. So like, as far as like the movie starting with like the love of his life getting married to somebody else, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, like I remember this sort of. But even in like the What If show, like when Doctor Strange had his main episode, I was like, bro, I don't really care about none of this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here. Like it's um kind of
Yeah,
like
like
how I view the
that's the
Hulk.
issue with me. Like
Yeah.
that that emotional factor, you just feel like it needed to be put into the movie itself
Hmm.
to really bump it up, because it just feels like an out of body experience of him really wanting to be with Christine and him really
Right.
feeling down about not being with her with that whole wedding scene from the get go.
Yeah.
But like you said, like we already got that with WandaVision for Wanda's character, but
Hmm.
we don't get that for Stephen Strange in the Doctor Strange number two. Like
Yeah.
Christine's alternate reality version to me is a better character than
Hmm.
the reality version of
Yeah.
Christine.
Yeah.
And that's just kind
Facts.
of crazy to have in a movie.
Hmm. Yeah. And I even saw a tweet that was like, yo, like, um, Doctor Strange been paying for not for answering the text message for the last 5 years or 10 years, because that was the whole thing. Like she told him, she was like, you can never give the knife to somebody else. You always got to be the one in control. And I was like, okay, that's a good solid, like, premise for some character development. But if we only get there through like words alone,
yeah, exactly.
It's
You're
like,
putting it perfectly, bro.
yeah,
Perfectly.
yeah. But it's just it's one of those things where I was like, bro, like that definitely could have been better, And like, y'all hear me. I'm coming to my senses as we continue to talk, right? But this joint was still wild, and it was still crazy.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So cut me some slack. You know what I'm saying? I'm not all hype. I'm not all hype. But let's see. We talked about the pacing. I'm curious how you feel about Wong as the Sorcerer Supreme. How do you feel about his character?
Like, I do kind of like it, because it's kind of what you were saying a second ago. Is kind of like Doctor Strange's character is going through this whole thing where he's always the person in charge or holding the knife in a certain way. Like, he's always the one who has to make the decision or like the cut. And it's kind of cool to see like our Doctor Strange is not the main Sorcerer Supreme, the person making the decisions, who's here, who's there, or what to do. Right. Because we did see in the movie the other Doctor Strange from the universe, the evil one, he holds the Darkhold with him. And it's kind of like, it's cool to see our Sorcerer Supreme is kind of out of bounds of the whole Avengers, he's just the Sorcerer Supreme, and then Strange kind of answers to him and even bows to him at the end, which is kind of cool with the whole moral of, you're always the one with the knife. And the only issue I have is kind of like you're corny. Saying it
corny, bro.
Yeah, you're saying it, and it's a little corny. And I don't really feel it that Strange is learning
anything
at all.
Yeah,
like at all. So it's kind of like, but I do like the fact that he's not the Sorcerer Supreme, because we already know Doctor Strange is the strongest. Like, we know he can whoop Wong whenever he wants to. If they had to go down to it.
Yeah, yeah. So
what do you think?
I can't stand Wong, and it's not because, like, I'll be real, bro. It's not because, like, I don't think he's should be Sorcerer Supreme or anything like that. Because I think like you said, it gives Doctor Strange a lot more freedom to act in whatever way is necessary for like another story to progress or whatever. Because he's always got somebody at the sanctum to do what needs to be done, because Wong is powerful enough to be the Sorcerer Supreme. There's a reason why they chose him. But I think he needs to be a better side character or sidekick to Doctor Strange to help Doctor Strange progress better. I feel like if Wong was a better side character, then we would have a better Doctor Strange, bro. Because it's like, when I think of others, like take for instance Rhodey, or
I knew you were gonna say Rhodey. I knew it.
How do you know? But I say Rhodey, you know what I'm saying? Or what's his name? Damn, why am I blanking on this?
I don't know who you're gonna say after this. I was
the
just
new Captain
Rhodey
America
every time you said that.
Captain
Bucky?
No, not Bucky.
Sam Wilson.
Sam Wilson. Yeah. So like,
it's Wilson, right? I think.
It's Sam Wilson. Yeah. But like, think of characters like Sam Wilson or who else? It's plenty of other people. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but that support is needed. And for me, Wong's is very weak, and that's why we're in the predicament that we're in with Doctor Strange, where it needs to be go, because if you sit down and pay attention, you realize like there's not much there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
I like that.
I think if that was the case, that it would have made things a lot better because I think um the actor is funny. Like I enjoy their chemistry as like a duo, but his impact on the overall story and just like in general is
Yeah, like
usually like
what has Wong done as a Sorcerer Supreme that makes you be like, oh yeah, he's real good? I mean, he's just like a
yeah.
normal guy.
Yeah, like I think other than like, his first initial engagement with the little squid demon squid thing,
Yeah.
other than that, like I was expecting way more when Wanda came to like the little temple thing because all he did was literally just order other people to act.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I was just
100%.
like, man, I'm trying to see like what the social supreme powers now that you that like did it really level you up? Because
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is continuously leveling up. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like he just fails, continues to fail as in that role, and
Yeah.
I think that's really holding Doctor Strange's like development up as a character because right now the only thing that's keeping him like to get or interesting it was like he had a love interest. Now he got America, so that's a whole nother thing that
Oh yeah.
will help continue because I think like his bond with like people under him, like whether it's America Chavez or if it's Peter or Spider-Man, like I like the way that he like interacts with them, and I think that's really good. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling about that. But let me see what else. How about the fact that nobody won in this movie? Did you feel that way? I
Mm,
got that. I got that sense because I felt not cheated.
okay. Okay. Let's
I
go
didn't.
into this.
I
Let's
didn't
deep
feel
dive.
cheated. At the end when Wanda realized what she was doing, but I don't like it when villains don't get their just due. If Wanda's gonna be the villain, I need to see Wanda get put down. I don't like when villains put themselves down.
Okay,
You know what I'm
so
saying?
I'm gonna push back on this. All
Okay.
right.
All
So
right.
I was worried that in Multiverse of Madness,
Mm-hmm.
they would do the same old stuff where it's like it's Wanda and it's Doctor Strange, and then they're actually gonna fight something else together.
That's what I
Like
thought was gonna happen too.
exact like
Yeah.
walking to, I was like, please don't. Oh man,
Yeah.
like they started off okay, they're on two different sides, but I was like, watch it come out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's someone else. Oh, and
Yeah.
I really like the fact that throughout the movie, even the Illuminati, they were like, "Oh, we can put down your little witch" and all that type of stuff. Like the
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet Witch was literally that character where she was so strong that nobody actually could stop her. That
Yeah.
American Chavez, right? America
Yeah.
Chavez had to punch a hole into the reality where she could see her kids for her to come to the realization that Strange told her from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
like what's gonna happen to their mom. And
Yeah.
then she possessed that same mom and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
it took her like seeing it with her eyes, like,
Yeah.
dang, like this is wrong. But she
Mm-hmm.
was that powerful, nobody was gonna stop her. And
Yeah.
and kind of leading off of WandaVision, when you learn that she's this Nexus being, there's only one of her, and she can rewrite all of realities. She was kind of going softy on everybody in the whole
Mm-hmm.
movie because with Black Bolt, when she covered up his mouth and then he blew his brains out,
He did
like
that to
she could have,
himself.
yeah, she could have done that. She could have annihilated everyone easy, and
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of shows it,
Right.
but she still fights people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why she's kind of like this anti-hero instead of villain.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I kind of just love the fact that they knew, we can't let Doctor Strange put Wanda down. Everyone's gonna sit there and say like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how did the Doctor Strange, no Eye of Agamotto or nothing,
Right.
put down Wanda Maximoff, who almost defeated Thanos
Mm-hmm.
with some Infinity? Oh no, he had no Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like almost easily crushed Thanos like it was nothing. So
Yeah.
to me, I like the fact that it's like Wanda coming to a realization that like, dang, this isn't going to be the reality in which it's going to work out for me.
Mhm.
But I did like the fact that it's kind of like Doctor Strange did get a level up. We see how strong Strange is. But come on, you're not going to beat this Nexus being like the Scarlet Witch. And I just love that fact that, whew, they kind of like averted having a greater demon or greater villain where they both defeat and then one is like, okay, I'm wrong. It was kind of like
Yeah.
she came to a realization, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I agree. I agree with that sentiment. To me, it's more so when I say like nobody actually won is because Wanda, she had to get rid of herself basically because you can't just destroy the dark hole. The dark hole user has to die too. Well, in the other instance, somebody got burned up or like actually destroyed. Like
Yep.
we saw her light go out or whatever, but it's just like, did it really? I don't know. But it's just like when that is the win. Like I was waiting for not zombie Doctor Strange to be the one to like bring them back. I was waiting for like him to open up a portal or something. You know what I'm saying? For him to come back and save the day, basically. Even though he did technically, you know, but it was
Yeah,
just like, okay,
technically.
it's like, okay, yeah, you finally convinced her. Like I get that sentiment of like, okay, like nobody's gonna beat Wanda, so she's gonna have to do it herself, or like she's
Yeah.
gonna have to be shown, right? But even with like America, right? There's so many questions I have about her. Whereas it's like, okay, we know that Wanda was searching for her, right? But it's just like, okay, now you're starting to learn how to use your powers in a high tense situation where you can go exactly where you need to go, right? But it's just like, okay, now that you know that, what what is
Here,
your win? What is your
here's the
win?
cracks in the movie, bro.
You
You're
know what I'm
starting to
saying?
see them.
Nah,
You're starting to
I
see
seen
them.
I seen them before, but it's just like, yo, like she's like what? She's like what? 16 maybe? 14, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
But it's just like she first when they first showed the little memory of her losing her parents and her basically using her powers for the first time, you know, that was a really long time ago,
Yep.
right? And it's just like, okay, um up until this point has she just been jumping from reality to reality? Like,
Yeah.
or like
Essentially.
what were those like how long has Wanda been chasing her? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, probably just until she heard the her children through the dark hold when she was reading it, and she realized
yeah,
that there was a way to attain them, but she needs
yeah,
America Chavez's powers to
yeah.
physically traverse realities because she can't actually like using that dark hold technique. It
Hmm.
just lets you dream walk for like a little bit type thing.
Right, but she said how many like I forgot the number, but she said she's how many dimensions or whatever.
Yeah, it was
Or
like 70 something. So
yeah, so you've done it that many times. How many Doctor Stranges have you met like since you did it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of questions when it comes to that. So it's like, yes, she finally gets a place where she can stay and she's safe and things like
yeah.
that. But that's not enough. That's not enough. And then with Doctor Strange, like, yeah, you finally stop something, but it's just like, yo, like you now have all this information, you know. I don't feel like you like everybody's just like, oh, everything's we beat Wanda, quote unquote, we beat Wanda, right? But it's just like now we just go back to regular life.
And that's what I'm saying. The movie's very like rush, 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 go,
Yeah.
go, go, go. Cause it's like, oh, we beat Wanda. And then it's just like, all right, I'm walking down the street, walking down the
Mm-hmm.
street. And then it's like, uh, remember? Like he's like, and then the next
Yeah.
scene, walking down the street in a scarf, walking
Yeah.
down the street in a scarf. Bloop!
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Right.
like, yo, what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Like
it's
they just keep going that you don't get that build. Instead, it feels like it needs to slow down, kind of answer
mhm.
some more than just be like, oh, this is where I come from. Boom, my parents gone. Bah, yeah, and that's where I came from. Now I'm here years later.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, let's.
Yeah, it's
That, that's why I'm saying like there's some cracks in it, but I gotta say
yeah,
I do enjoy the mess out of this movie.
yeah. It's up there. It's up there. It's not number one. You know, it's not number one.
Yeah.
But it's like as far as like a spectacle and like what you've seen, it's on that level. It's on that level, and it's just like if they can do this with Doctor Strange, like where do we go from
Exactly.
here? Where do we go from here? What happened with Eternals? You know,
Yeah, I know, bro. I know.
I'm
I'm with
seeing
you.
this, and I'm like, what was this movie? You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's tough for me to swallow that the Eternals was.
It's
I don't know. I don't know what people see in that movie that like. I
me
just don't
neither,
know.
me neither, bro. But I mean, other than that, I guess we go into actual scores now. You know,
Okay. Okay. Well, let me hear your score because I know your score is gonna be way
so
higher than my score.
no. So listen. Let me break it down.
Hey, go ahead and give it a
Let me break
12.
it
Go
down.
ahead.
So no. No. So like I gave it a rundown. So this is 24 hours later, basically. So
Yeah, basically.
yeah. So initially coming out of the theater, 10, easy. Best thing I done seen in a minute, right? Um, then
Okay.
once I got home, I started thinking about it. I'm like, this movie was great, but you know the main star of the movie didn't really go nowhere. Like we didn't get nothing like new from him from like a from character development side. But Wanda's character development, oh, that's that Kobe Jack. But it's just like it's like one of those things where I was just like, bruh, this is peak Marvel right here, you know. And then I wait out. I watched some reviews. I watched some, I seen some tweets and things like that, and I start seeing scores, right? So like initial instinct, I'm gonna give it a 9. I don't
Okay.
think it's like a perfect movie, but I think it's worthy of a 9, right? When it comes to just like what I saw initially. Now, will I feel that way when my review comes out? Probably not.
Yup.
But
No.
but at like my heart of heart says it's a 9.
Okay.
But when I think about it in the most critical way, I would give it an 8.5.
Okay. Okay.
8.5. And that's just
Oh,
me. That's me being like humble, I guess. I don't know. Like because it's for me it's more than just the movie itself. It's what this means for anything else that comes out. Like the gravity of this movie alone, and the ability for you know them to be able to put something like this out, where it's like you take a typical superhero movie and you make it a horror film, and it's like you find the middle where
oh yeah.
both sides get the equal amount of greatness from those things and be able to bring it to light. So I'm saying like they were able to do this with two quote unquote side characters. What I'm saying? What's gonna happen when we get the next I don't know, Black Panther, or
Yeah. Honestly.
like
I
just
mean, we got Thor: Love and Thunder coming up, and that's
Thor Love
Thor
and
and the
Thunder.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I'm
It's
excited.
it's a lot to work with, what I'm saying? And I'm just they freaking went crazy, bro. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a 10, bro. It's a 10. I'm stop playing with y'all. It's a 10,
Yeah.
dog. It's a 10.
Dude, he went
Like
serious.
it's
This is the score. Then he went, it's a 10. Oh
nah,
man,
this joint went crazy
I
now,
like
but
it. I like it.
but but how you feeling, Chris? How you feeling? Let me know.
I'm
Let's
not
get
gonna
it.
lie. Walking out the theater, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm a big horror movie guy, and I always give horror movies a bonus than
Mm-hmm.
most reviewers because they just really be hating on horror movies, in my opinion. But for me, I walked out this theater saying that this movie cannot be lower than a 9. Like
Okay.
I just couldn't imagine it being lower than a 9. And
Yeah.
as I thought about it and really, really thought about it, I'm gonna have to slot it right there at that 8 out of 10 spot.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine this not being a top 10 Marvel movie. And when I think
Yeah.
back on a lot of the Marvel movies, I really think Multiverse of Madness will end up being a top 10 Marvel movie. Will it crack like the top 8 or 7? It's I don't think it will, but it's to
I'm.
me at least 9 or 10. And I think it's a great time. Everyone definitely should go see it because it's one of those big blockbuster movies that I think is gonna do great. They
Yeah.
did kind of like what you said, following up what you said. They did this with 2 technically side characters. I know Doctor Strange isn't a side character, but come on now.
Yeah.
Like they did this with 2 side characters. They added in cameos that make it even worth it more. The Illuminati, X-Men, Wanda's done perfectly. They the way they took care of Wanda and the Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
it just seems like they can do no wrong if they really, really want to plan out a character. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Thor and stuff like that. But this movie, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's definitely top tier Marvel.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, it's just enjoyable as heck to watch.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
was so enjoyable. And like I said, even though it goes like fast paced, nonstop roller coaster, it
Mhm.
just seems so worth it compared to the last or most of the Phase 4 movies that was brought, like Widow, Shang-Chi. It just feels
Yeah.
so fresh, so unique, and I just honestly really love this movie, and I can't wait to watch it again. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna slide it in at 8, probably for sure top 10, if not 10 or 9 Marvel movie of all time.
Yeah. It's my gut. My gut says 6, but I have to look at the list.
No
I
way,
have to
bro.
look at the list.
Ain't no way, bro. Ain't
Not
no
you trying to
way.
fight me through the screen.
Ain't no
No.
way. That
No.
can't be a 6, bro.
No.
This movie cannot be a 6.
No, like 6 out of 10. Like the out of the Marvel movies.
At
Yeah.
top 6. I was like, wait a minute. This man jumping
One
from
fault. One
10.
fault.
Okay, number 6. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
you might need to do
If
a
we're ranking,
podcast of re-ranking this thing because it's
I can't do it by myself because I'm gonna be biased.
yeah,
I'm gonna be
it's
biased.
interesting
You
because
know.
I do think this movie will people will either think it's closer to the first Doctor Strange movie, or they'll think it's higher. I really think they're gonna slot it either one of those. You know what I mean? It's
What do you
either
mean?
gonna be in top 10 or it's gonna be closer
Oh.
to the first Doctor Strange.
Oh. Okay.
That,
In
that,
that
that's
scale.
how I'm
Okay.
viewing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I personally really like it. I love the horror elements. I
Mhm.
love the fact how they took care of the 2 main characters.
Yeah.
But and I love the fact that watching the WandaVision show,
Yeah.
it just
Did so
bleeds into
much.
this movie,
Yeah.
and it just feels so rewarding. Even What
Mhm.
If, because we had Captain Carter and all
Yeah.
that. Like it just bleeds so much that it's just so rewarding. So, hey yo,
Mhm.
thank you so much for making all the stuff that I consume on the daily, for the past years actually seem worth it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was like, and that's where I feel people get lost at because I realize that I'm like we are like an anomaly where when we watch everything from that comes out on Marvel,
Yeah,
whereas like the average person probably didn't see WandaVision, you
I
know,
know.
like they definitely didn't see Loki, right? So it's just like if you didn't see those specific things, you don't even understand. Like,
If you didn't see What If, I mean,
yeah,
Captain Carter would just be like,
like who is that? Like,
what
who's
what
yeah,
happened to Captain America? Like
yeah,
what is going on?
yeah. Because even then, bro, even then, the whole like we haven't seen her in a movie since the first one, right? And in that
Yeah,
movie, she doesn't have like a super big like role
yeah,
as far as like the amount of lines that she has. Yes, they
yeah.
have their
Helping
moment at
Captain
the
America
end.
become Captain America.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So it's just like, bro, like if y'all are not watching like these shows, if y'all not watching like the little things. I implore y'all to do it because like when you go to the theaters, it's such a payoff. And talking about the
Yeah.
theaters, man, like I can't like,
Hey, they
bro,
coming back, bro.
it's
They
it's
coming back.
it's back on the rise, dog. Like I even said to Chris, like when people started cheering at when they first saw somebody, I was like, bro, I forgot what this was like. Like I literally forgot,
Yeah.
because it's like when you go into like a movie like Spider-Man, like you expect that, right? Because it's Spider-Man, everybody's gonna go see it. But it's like to a Doctor Strange movie, it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah. We here, we getting back to where
Exactly.
things used to be. So it's just like that has me super hyped, man. But other than that, bro, so we've talked about like our rankings for the movie, man. Where where do you think we go from here? I mean, we talked you talked a little bit about the end credits. I'm more on the
Well,
side of like
I
I
do
don't
not
remember, but
know. I do
yeah.
not know where we go from here. And that's the crazy thing, because
Yeah.
if you listen to our previous podcast, I think it
Mhm.
was for
Morbius.
Spider-Man. No. Way
Oh.
back to Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
very true. We did have Morbius one. The
Yeah.
Spider-Man one, we were trying to figure out, pinpoint when is Kang and
Mhm.
Multiverse of Madness, like what's gonna happen in this one? Like, did Spider-Man bleed into Multiverse of Madness? So
Right.
what the heck? We're not anywhere. They can
Bro.
do anything.
They're
You
five
don't
brain, bro.
know exactly.
They're five brain.
They're like, oh, we're gonna show you all of this, and you're gonna
Mhm.
think right here, and then
Yeah.
we're all the way to the left.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we
Yeah.
walk into this movie, and it's like anything you expect, too bad. It's gone within
Mm.
30 minutes of the movie. You just
Right.
already know, all right, we're just on
Right.
a whole different track than anyone mapped out.
Mhm.
So you said it in the theater when they kept saying incursions, it's
Yeah.
clear that they're trying to take this Avengers level threat to Secret Wars.
Mhm.
But because we're kind of in this like where we're going, I'm just go ahead and say go off the rails.
Yeah.
I am so lost to this whole multiple realities and
Yeah.
then multiple timelines that I'm thinking they're two separate things, and
Mhm.
that the multiple realities is going towards a Secret Wars, and
Yeah.
then the multiple timelines is going towards the next Ant-Man movie. And I'm thinking
Okay.
they're trying to go towards like a double whammy big time movies where we got Secret Wars, which will be the Infinity War level stuff, and then Ant-Man movie is going to be the huge payoff for the Loki movie, kind of like what they
Mhm.
did with Multiverse of Madness. But that's
Yeah.
kind of where I wanted to bounce it off of you, because you were saying incursions. Is
Mhm.
this officially the reveal of Secret Wars? And I'm starting to think. I think you're right.
Yeah.
They showed off X-Men. They
Yeah.
just kept saying incursions in the movie,
Yeah.
and
That's surprising.
technically, then the incursions are the realities in which Secret Wars would be
A
more
thing.
in line with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah, I still think we're heading towards Secret Wars. Um and even more now because of like you said, like we saw the Illuminati for the first time. Um and they also talked about incursions, but we also got Secret Invasions that's coming out, which is like the whole scroll thing. So
scroll
like
aspect. Yeah.
yeah, so like there's that. We still haven't seen what's the name come back yet. What's his name? Nick Fury.
Mhm.
So I'm figuring like the next Marvel movie or Miss Marvel movie or Captain Marvel movie, we'll see something with that. But yeah, I think we're still heading towards that. Um I think we're not gonna get towards like the whole Galactus side of things until Fantastic Four. But
That's a good thought. Yeah.
yeah, now that we've seen Reed Richards, it's just like okay, even though like you said, it's very confusing when we're talking about timelines versus like universes and dimensions and
Yeah.
stuff, because my thinking that it is like it's all one thing. Like I think we're thinking too far or far past it or too deep into it, because it's just like if they're going to combine all this stuff, it has to be a simple answer,
Yeah.
because if it's just like if we're talking timelines, um They already
It's
proved.
so confusing, man.
I
It's
mean,
so
but
confusing.
they already proved that, like with Captain America going back and living out his life, that as long as you're not super like um affecting the timeline,
Yeah.
things will like continue to go smoothly. But it's only when, like with Loki, where like you steal the Tesseract, something major that.
But that's the interesting part because he goes back in the timeline.
Mhm,
It's not a different um Captain America like we saw in Multiverse of Madness, which is Peggy Carter in a
yeah,
whole nother reality. So it's kind of
right,
like they're two different
right. So
things
so like,
entirely.
yeah, so like what I was getting to is like, if we're gonna like tear them off as far as like what matters most,
Mhm.
um I think timeline is at the bottom,
Yeah.
because they've already set in stone what that really looks like. Then we have like the different dimensions, whether it's
Yep.
Dormammu's dimension, but then the overall thing is the realities, because that's when we get into
Yeah.
the X-Men and get into like
And that whole
Fantastic
incursion that
Four. Right.
another Doctor Strange already ruined an entire
Mm-hmm.
reality. Like it already
Yeah.
merged and stuff like that. Like
Right.
crazy.
Right. So like, I feel like that's how it's ranking, because like everything with Loki and now He Who Remains, or uh uh uh
Dang. Yeah.
Kang, yeah, all that's happening, like in Quantumania as well. All that happening is happening outside of the fabric of time. So
Exactly.
it's going to factor into how things move forward, but it's not impeding on what's already happening. That's
Exactly.
how I see it. You know what I'm saying? So as far as like where we go from here, from what we've seen
Thor:
from
Love and
the,
Thunder. What's happening? What's gonna happen?
well, for that,
That's literally in like
yeah, it's
a
right in the
month.
middle. Yeah,
It's like so
yeah,
soon.
yeah. So because we already seen Jane Foster, I think
Hmm.
Jane Foster is going to be a part of like the Spider-Man break or whatever, in reality,
Okay, that's interesting.
rather than being like the incursion actually happening right now, like the main incursion. I think
Because the
that's
Spider-Man break is realities.
right,
Yeah.
right. So I think that just like how um the Vulture is in the Venom universe or whatever,
Mhm.
I think the same thing will happen with Jane Foster, where she gets transported into this one, and then based off of that, we get the Thor movie, and then she'll help Thor find himself again,
Yep.
and see what he was, and see who he's become, and
Yep.
then Thor will jump back into the fold at whatever point. I don't know. We have to see. We have to wait and see for that movie. But yeah, I think
No, I
Doctor
like that. I like that. That
I
makes
think
sense.
yeah, I think Doctor Strange is going to be something further down the line, as far as like the end credit scene, because that was just, I had no idea what was going on for that. You know. So
I'm not that. I mean, to be honest, we're deep in the comic book lore.
yeah,
That I
I'm not.
promise you,
I'm not
no
there.
normal comic book fan that watched the TV shows like I did in the past, stuff like that, that could be like, oh, Thanos, look, we're going to Thanos. Like, no,
Yeah.
we're way in deep. You had to read the comic books to know what's going on nowadays, which is cool
Right.
because they're finally getting their payoffs. But
Hmm.
yeah, I have no clue where we're going with the end credit scene and
Yeah.
but it's definitely on along the lines of fixing different realities and
Hmm.
if kind of like I do agree with your assumption like maybe that the uh Jane Foster being
Yeah.
Thor is from another reality or whatever.
Hmm.
um we're gonna mess around with the realities for a while until we get back to Doctor Strange, in which
Right.
maybe they now come around to fixing the realities,
Hmm.
which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much that on Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, man.
Yeah, man.
It's feel like we went through gymnastics just now. It was a lot. It was a
Yeah,
lot.
that was
It
a
was a lot.
lot to break down.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it for our recap on Doctor Strange. Now we're gonna get into the filler arc. So Moon Knight, Marvel's Batman. You know
Mhm.
what? What did you expect? And we don't have to go super in depth on
Yeah.
this, but what did you expect and what did you get out of it?
I'm not gonna lie. I think this series started off incredible, and it made me really happy because it made me remember how great WandaVision and Loki were when they first started, and um, Sam Wilson and the Captain America. It was solid, but it wasn't
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But I'm interested to hear what you said because I really like the way Moon Knight started off,
mhm.
and I did not like the way it ended or went downhill,
Really?
in my opinion. I'm
Okay,
not a Moon Knight fan,
okay,
but I do like Moon Knight's introduction of these gods and these Egyptian gods, and they keep
mm,
showing like more real world mythology with like Alexander the Great
yeah,
into Marvel, and it's just so incredible to show like real world stuff in the movie, which I kind of wish
mm,
Eternals kind of did more. But
yeah,
that was my favorite part. I can't wait to see more and more about these gods, Khonshu, and
mm,
kind of, I mean, pretty much season 2, hopefully, or like a spin-off movie.
yeah.
I don't know. Excited to see what they
So
do next with Moon Knight. So
yeah,
let me hear what you got.
so
Good?
I love
Good?
Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. But
Ooh!
Moon Knight got frustrating as it continued to go on because it got more confusing. Like until until I saw the little hippo joint. Like, that broke my brain when I saw the hippo. 'Cause I was like,
The goddess.
what is going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The hippo goddess, yeah. I was like, what is happening, bro? Because initially, like the beginning, it gave me WandaVision vibes because it was like, okay, we're figuring out what's going on as the episodes continue, right? But for WandaVision, we got 3 episodes to start. This one, it wasn't like that, but it was a more concise story, because it was our first real like introduction to um Mark, uh Mark, I know it. I know it.
Right there.
Mark Spector,
Yeah.
and Steve. But I think that helped things out. I think Oscar Isaac is an Olympic level freaking actor, bruh, to be able to go in between accents and personalities like that. Um, it's one of those things where it's like a very polarizing story, but it it wrapped up a little too nice for me. Like it wrapped up like um in a way where by the time that we got to the end, I kind of knew what was going to happen. Like I knew there was more than just those two personalities because once you break that barrier of it not being like a whole different person or versus like a whole different like personality as far as like your psyche, I'm thinking like, okay, if there's one, there's got to be multiple. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
they kind of hint at it during the series anyway.
right, right.
So
So
like when
like
they did it, I was kind of like, yeah, you clearly can see it in the show. And then when they like kind of
mm,
did it again at the very last episode, I was like, dang, I kind of wish you didn't do it like a second time because
right.
you kind of already see it before. And
Mhm.
it would have been a cool Easter egg. Like, wait a minute, what
Yeah.
happened here? Mark or Steven don't remember this scenario, so could there be
Right.
more? And it's like,
Right. Because I like Conchu and Mark's chemistry and Steve's chemistry throughout the movie, but once you add added the other one. I was just like, oh, okay, this is a prototypical character. Like this character didn't. Well, I'm speaking of this character. I'm speaking of his name Jake Lockett or something
Yeah.
like that. I was just like, okay, this dude is just gonna be a freaking psycho. Like obviously, you know what I'm saying? No words need to be said. He's just a straight up killer type beat. But it was just like I was still very confused in of the whole like what's real and what's not when it comes to like just like the mental patient thing, and it still didn't really get explained at the end, right?
True,
Because
because it was like sleeping, right?
right, and it's just like okay, what's real and what's not, like you know what I'm saying? Like I would have rather had like a better understanding of that when it comes to it, but I think it was still super good.
Yeah.
What else? Uh it just left me wanting more, you know. And I think
That's good. That's
I think
good.
yeah, I think the combat and the action scenes and the different suits was cool and how fluid it is. Um, but it's just I need a movie now. I I
Yeah.
I need a movie. Like I can't do. I rather have a movie. Like even if it's not his own movie, you know,
Yeah.
even if it's just like him appearing in something else. Like I would love to see that more so than like I feel like another season would just be kind of easy because now I feel like the jig is up. You know, like
Yeah.
that's how I feel with it, and especially if you're going to eliminate the main villain at the end of the video. It's like, okay, so there's nothing left for us
Yeah.
to
You.
ponder.
Good point. Good
You
point.
know, so it's just like yeah, but I still give it a 9. Still give it a 9.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I
Nice.
still
Nice.
give it a
Nice.
9.
No, no.
But
A lot of people are praising Moon Knight as
mm,
the best yet Disney Marvel show,
nah,
which is very interesting because I was
Loki.
like, wow.
I like Loki the best.
Yeah, I mean, Loki's up there too. But I was like,
Yeah.
wow, like people really, 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 really like Moon Knight, and
Hmm.
I'm kind of on the same mindset with you. I probably would prefer a movie or like a cameo in a movie or
Hmm.
some type of, can we put him into a movie that would feels natural?
Hmm.
Um, because a second season kind of just feels
Like just
standard.
yeah,
Like will I like the second season? Sure, but I don't think it would be better than season one. So that's how
yeah,
I'm feeling.
and
Um,
it's mainly because like there's no more integration with the rest of the Marvel universe
yeah,
in
you're
the
kind of
show.
waiting to see
Yeah,
what
like
that is
how does he
because that's
play
what
into it? Yeah.
all of the other ones have. They have
Hmm.
integration already. This one is so separate that you're kind of like, okay, well,
Yeah.
will this come to fruition? Is this like kind of like a planting seed just to show
Hmm.
off like Egyptian gods or gods in the Marvel universe? I don't really know.
Right.
And I mean, we'll see. It's interesting to see, but
Yeah.
yeah, Moon Knight is pretty good. I just am not on the side of it's super super great.
Hmm. Yeah, and they gave us our first Egyptian what you call it? Egyptian superhero with
Egyptian
Layla.
superheroes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with Layla as the Scarlet Scarab. That's her name. So that's super cool. She's tough. And I liked her chemistry with Mark and Steven or Oscar Isaac,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it. I think it was good.
yeah.
But
All
yeah.
10 of them.
Exactly, exactly. Um but yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got for today. It's probably dang, this joint is like almost
Yeah, that
hour and a
was
half. This joint was
crazy.
a
This
long
was
shit. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. So thanks again, Chris, for stopping by on the
Yeah,
channel.
always,
You know what I'm
always.
saying? Looking forward to what we got. We got Thor Love and
You
Thunder
probably,
next.
yeah, probably catch me at Thor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So definitely stay tuned for that. Um, the reviews is coming soon. You know what I'm saying? I got my notes and stuff together, and as y'all can see, I'm still like that's why we wait a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Before I get my thoughts out here, but it's just like
And
we
that's
have
why
a
it's the
little.
why I'm geek. That way you can
Yeah.
show off all your raw emotions after the show,
Yep.
get them all out there, so everyone can see where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And that's why this podcast is always needed, man.
Yeah, facts. So that's going to do it for us, man. If you like the podcast, man, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on the audio platforms, leave a comment, rate the podcast, and let us know what you think. I know some of y'all might not be feeling the same way about Doctor Strange as I did. You know what I'm saying? No one movie in Marvel, but nah, I'm just kidding. But definitely leave a comment down below and let us know what you think. And yeah, let us know if y'all want to see this top 10 list, because it might need to get updated. You feel me? But other than that, that's it for us, man. I'm out of here. We out of here.
Y'all take care.
Yeah. Oh, and I had a brain fart just now. Follow Chris on all of his socials at Chrissy Light TV, or I'll have his links down in the description below. But other than that, we out of here. You know the vibes. Always keep growing. See going. It's me, your boy G and Chris, and we go.
Yep.
Peace.